when Republicans are doing this stuff to each other, the Democrats are sitting on the side just cheering. They love it. They love this stuff. They love to see it. They love to see the media pit us against each other.
When people go negative, it's because they got something they're not doing right to connect. And I'd rather be connecting and being positive.
So there's Rubio and Kasich taking a page from Ronald Reagan's 11th Commandment, do not be critical of other Republicans. The question now is whether or not that strategy can work in 2016. Donald Trump is verbally shredding his competition. Doug Schoen, former advisor to President Bill Clinton, Monica Crowley, online opinion editor for the Washington Times. Both are Fox News contributors. Hello to both of you.
How are you?
No Republican on Republican violence. Is that a good strategy?
Well, they all want to be happy warriors, and it's a very noble thing for Senator Rubio, John Kasich, to come out and say, look, I'm not going to attack fellow Republicans. Very noble. Let's see how long it lasts, because the front-runner, Donald Trump, has a rhetorical machine gun, which he is not afraid to use. He uses it almost on a daily basis, and that's why he is leading the pack. So it's interesting to hear them say this. Again, we'll see how long it lasts, but remember, they have super PACs that are not constrained by this vow of positivity, and they can certainly launch attacks.
And they can say, no contact with the people. There's a curtain up between me and that super PAC. I think Monica's right, Doug. I think you always kind of start positive and nice. But it only lasts so long.
Well, that's right. And look at where Rubio finds himself. He was the subject of what you'd call a drive-by shooting by former candidate Chris Christie, knocked him down 9 or 10 points in New Hampshire, and now he's saying, let's all play nice. I mean, give me a break. He has been eviscerated by negative communication. He now doesn't want it, and Governor Kasich really, I guess, has a positive message, but he finished in second, and it's pretty hard to see where in South Carolina or the SEC primaries he's going to get any votes.
We're going to find out about that, though. Kasich said, what, I'm not a pincushion or a marshmallow, so right. I will not absorb them without being tough.
Yes, that is true.
I thought what was leaked from the Bush team late on Tuesday night is fascinating. Kasich wants to gut the military, a big issue in South Carolina. Rubio is not ready to be president. He's proven that. That's the argument Bush is making here. Trump, I'm the only one willing to go after him. How do you see that argument now in South Carolina?
Well, there are basically two lanes now. You've got the Trump-Cruz dynamic, and then you have the more establishment lane of Kasich, Bush, and Rubio. So there's some infighting between those three, and then they're trying to go after the top tier, which is Cruz and Trump. Look, Jeb Bush realizes he came in fourth. Okay, he's trying to spin that as a positive, and he still has the resources to go forward. Those attacks might be somewhat effective in South Carolina because it's a veteran-heavy state, and also it is the establishment in South Carolina does have some influence. So he's angling to be the alternative to Cruz and to Trump. And that's what the establishment panic now is all about.
If you were analyzing this or even giving them advice, Doug,
I'd say this is a
strategy?
Trump-Cruz election in South Carolina. Bush is desperately trying to find a way in. This leaked memo, to me, is a reflection of the desperation of his candidacy.
So you both think this is a Trump-Cruz battle for first?
Correct.
And the others are having their own primary within a primary?
Correct.
To be
for
the
third, fourth, and fifth.
Right, to try to position themselves as the alternative to the populist Donald Trump and the true conservative Ted Cruz.
What do you write about in the Washington Times?
My column today is about the revolt that's happening on the Republican side. There's a revolt happening on the Democratic side as well, but I focus my attention today in my column on the voters' revolt, and this is why Donald Trump is leading the pack, but this is also why Ted Cruz has gotten so much traction. The voters are in open revolt, and the political earthquake that we started to see both in Iowa and New Hampshire has only begun to shake.
Can Cruz beat Trump in South Carolina?
He can. I don't think he will, but it is certainly possible if he can mobilize evangelicals the way he did in Iowa. A word about Monica's piece. She's right. It's going to get worse. It's happening on the Democratic side. The only surprise about 2016 is that the whole election is a complete unknown.
Is that it?
Well, Ted Cruz also, I just want to point that Senator Cruz has a very sophisticated ground operation in South Carolina and across the South.
Can he beat Trump in South Carolina?
It's possible he could give him a real race for his money.
I'm betting Donald Trump.
As a Democrat,
right,
will you live to see the day that the Democratic Party allows Bernie Sanders to be their nominee?
Well, I hope if he gets a majority of the delegates, as George McGovern did in 1972, that Bernie Sanders is allowed to be the nominee, should that happen.
And you know what I think on the Democratic side?
That wasn't a yes or a no.
That's a yes, an unabashed yes, Bill. If he wins, he should get the nomination. But with the superdelegates, as I was saying to Martha before, it looks to me like the process is rigged against him.
And my opinion on the Democratic side is that neither one is going to be the Democratic nominee. Neither Mrs. Clinton nor Senator Sanders.
You're kind of in that whole Biden, Bloomberg world over there.
Far from over.
Well, it has more to do with the FBI, I think.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Monica.